Welcome to the round one clash between the Adelaide Thunderbirds and the Melbourne Kestrels. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. I'm Steve Rebillard and we are at Etsa Park in Adelaide to kick off a new season of the Commonwealth Bank Trophy. Well, this was the scene last August in Sydney at the State Sports Centre. The Swifts completing a memorable grand final win over the Thunderbirds. Who will it be this year? Well, our first up match finds the Thunderbirds at home against the Melbourne Kestrels. Most critics agree both these sides are semi-final contenders. The Thunderbirds do find themselves for the first time without defensive stalwart Sarah Sutter, while the Kestrels are welcoming back one of their key players in Janine Illich. Pretty hard to run a line through form at this stage of the season, but there's always plenty to talk about with these two squads. Monica Lamb joins us again, and Monica, the Kestrels are looking stronger.
Yes, they are, Steve. They have acquired the talents of Katrina McCaffrey and also Christy Doyle from the Sydney Sandpipers, and that's their forward line virtually sealed. Nicole Richardson is in the centre, so that gives them perhaps strength and experience also. Illich defensively down the other end will create havoc for the Thunderbirds. Demelza Fellows in at goalkeeper. She's ably assisted by arguably the best goal defence in the world, and that is Catherine Harvey, and next to her is Peter Squire, so don't write off the Thunderbirds.
Well, I'm sure there are two very nervous coaches about to watch this match, and they've spent a lot of time preparing these squads. Let's hear what they have to say.
We've had a really hard pre-season, and everybody, I think, is fit as they can be. And now we'll see what happens out on the court tonight mentally and see how our skills are. We've got a few different faces. We've got Jackie Roberts in the starting lineup, Laura Von Berto in the starting lineup, and as well as Demelza Fellows. So it's a new challenge for all of us.
I think we're in the best physical shape we've ever been in. We've been working with the Commonwealth Games throwing coach, Gus Puopolo, and he's built a great amount of strength work on top of what David Derbyshire did last year with us. We've added a couple of new players, Katrina McCaffrey and Christy Doyle from the Sydney Sandpipers, and they're a fabulous addition to the team. They bring with them a lot of toughness and certainly a bit of experience as well, which we clearly needed after last year developing so many young players.
Well, it's great to be back underway with a new season, and certainly with two of the better credential clubs. Let's see how they start. It's been a feature of recent seasons that it's not easy to be in your best form in the first couple of weeks. Sharon Kelly and Prue Plummer, we've certainly got two of the better umpires to control this match, and we're looking forward to this season that will be highlighted not least of all by the Commonwealth Games. And Illich, aren't the Kestrels glad to have her back in the side? She could make quite a difference, Monica.
Yeah, a lot of height there in the goal-keeping role for Janine Illich. She's had a few touches in the early minute of this first quarter. Can't put the ball over Janine Illich's long stretch.
Goal defence, pass or shot.
And that's an early penalty against Kath Harvey-Williams and Sinna Neal. Shot 78% last season. Oh, looking to offload to Doyle, but that wasn't quite what a teammate was looking for.
Good body positioning by Harvey against Neal.
McCaffrey lost the handle. And there's good hands-up defence coming from the Thunderbirds. And contact against McCaffrey, who asks for no quarter and gives none.
Advantage wasn't played on that occasion, so ball taken back to the penalty area.
Illich is out of play. Roberts. There we go, first goal of the season for the Thunderbirds, and the Kestrels will be anxious to reply. Gee, they've got a tough draw, the Kestrels, who run into last year's grand finalists in the first 2 weeks. Last time they met, round 11 last year, a 21-goal win for the Thunderbirds. It wasn't as big a margin as earlier in the season when they beat the Kestrels 61-32 in Melbourne. One apiece through the first couple of minutes.
Thunderbirds always having the upper hand, Steve, against the Kestrels over the years. Inception in '97 saw the first round game, Kestrels versus the Thunderbirds. I think their closest game was 6 back in 1998 with the Kestrels taking that one.
Yeah, they're 8-2 against the Kestrels, and including the last 5 in a row.
Oh, Demelza had good eyes on that one there as Richardson went into the pocket.
Sanders, and they're looking pretty sharp. So too is Delaney, who chose not to tour to England recently for that Test series. And so she has to sort of re-impress the selectors to force her way back into the Australian side for the Commonwealth Games. But not easy to imagine Australia not taking Delaney with them, especially seeing as she's got this new versatility now of wing attack being an option.
Oh, Harvey
Kestrel throwing.
goes in hard against Neil. No contact or obstruction or any other call made by umpire on that area. See Neil going in front position.
I think that's when the players are grateful for a sprung floor. At least it gave a little bit.
Oh, do you think so? You don't think Ash felt would be a little bit better?
Oh, look. Now you're being cynical. It's too early in the season. Neil.
Kestrels.
And Kestrels really must keep in touch when the Thunderbirds have any chance. But they've certainly been boosted. McCaffrey, the ball now, leaving the Sandpipers to join Thunderbirds. So too Christy Doyle.
This would be quite a different way for McCaffrey to go into the forward line. She'd be used to throwing up to the likes of Joe Morgan. With the Sandpipers, it'd be a very stop-start game for McCaffrey, getting to the top of the circle and just placing it up to Morgan. Here, she gets the option to work the ball around the circle with Richards and also work it into the likes of Doyle and Neil, who are fairly creative also.
Berto forces it out again to Sanders. Now Delaney makes herself available on the baseline, backing away from Illich, but Illich is there for the rebound. A champion in that department. Defenders need to be. Vivian Strawn. Richardson.
Vantage centre contact and offside.
So Strawn in the starting lineup instead of Daly, which was another late change. We also thought Amanda Burton may have started up front, but Christy Doyle got the start, as predicted by my co-commentator here, Monica Lam.
Once again over the long stretch of Strawn. Roberts can't drop behind those defenders. Must come to the front position. At the moment Delaney has put up 3. She's been successful with 1.
Roberts has it.
3 for Roberts. Jackie Robertson in the goal shooting role.
Kestrels have made a pretty steady start. They've been training hard together since November last year.
Kestrels, where you are, wing.
Marg Lind told us that they've had some instruction and that sort of cross-training, if you like, from a throwing coach. And I think that most sports agreed on the value of things like that. Get coaching from a different sport to bring some new ideas. Keeps the players fresh, strengthens them up in other areas.
Delaney, 2 from 4, so the Adelaide Thunderbirds have put 7 to the post. Successful with 5. Kestrels, on the other hand, Doyle has had her first shot just 30 seconds ago, and also Neil, 3 from 3.
Throw in. Kestrel sideline.
And it's a Kestrel's ball. Must have come off Peter Squire. McCaffrey. And that's a grubber. Gladly picked up by Delaney. And they're down here in a flash. Through Von Berto to Delaney.
Great movement by the Thunderbirds in the forward line.
They can make you pay so quickly. And Delaney with 3 from 5.
Defense, great pass. Centre third. Yep.
Break on Harvey Williams, centre pass, so turnover going the way of the Kestrels.
Vivian to Neil. 7 minutes gone. 2 the lead for the Thunderbirds. And Fellows strongly held her ground. Collect the rebound. A bit of a traveller, originally from Victoria. Played a lot of a netball in Queensland. Now South Australia. Umberto over the top to Roberts. Illich jumps early. Roberts not perturbed in the least. And she's 4 from 4. This is only her 14th game in the Commonwealth Bank Trophy, but one of those matches was the 2000 Grand Final. She played 3 quarters against Melbourne Phoenix.
Good anticipation there from Harvey Williams coming out on the pass. So turnover going the way of the Thunderbirds again. Squire has had a fairly eventful first quarter against McCaffrey.
Kestrels conceding double the penalties of the Thunderbirds. 8-4 that stat at the moment.
Roberts 7 from 8 at 88%.
No Cassie Martin for the Thunderbirds this season, or Sarah Sutter, so they have changes at either end. Neal won't miss from there.
Mishandled by Fellows, allowing Neal to score for the Kestrels.
Harvey Williams, Monberto and Delaney, who took last year's grand final loss rather to heart, felt that she let the team down. Well beaten in all thirds, I think, at the end of the day. She's perhaps being a bit harsh on herself. Keen to make amends this year. Sanders. Oh, Delaney just snatches it.
Yes.
Hasn't she got quick hands?
Oh, incredible. I don't think she's going to have much trouble making the Australian side. That's my opinion, and it's not really worth quite a lot these days, but she is just so valuable.
Monica, we pay you for it. Big money too, I tell you.
She has just got some incredible skills.
Doyle over to McCaffrey.
Holding, back arm, goal defence. Where you want goal defence, come in. Yep.
A little more particular. Ooh.
Contact, goalkeeper. Go
Stepping right in. Was Demelza Fellows, but legally until she contacted. Oh, well done,
yes.
Illich. It came off both feet. She really had to go fishing for the ball, but she's got quick hands as well.
Using every part of her body. Illich is perhaps one of those players that is unorthodox to play against.
Nice cooperation there between the umpires. They both saw something, and Sharon Kelly just looked across to Plummer, wanting to hear what her call was. And they really do have two of the better umpires here. They're acting as a team too. Sometimes it's easy to overlook the way they work.
Oh, great work, Sinanil on the baseline. Doyle effectively moves into the space. Thunderbirds leaving that area wide open.
And the throw-in is Adelaide's. Demelza Fellows really had to do her apprenticeship behind Sarah Sutter, but Sutter retiring. Oh, a blind pass, a good idea from Delaney, and backup coming from everywhere. Gee, the first match of the season, aren't we seeing some commitment, Monica?
Let's have a look at this as the ball goes. Delaney just on one toenail, flicks it back in.
It's a good idea because she knew that at least for a second or so that a teammate was on her own, Jackie Roberts, but defence closed in and the blind pass was not really the best she's ever delivered, but it was under difficult circumstances. Sanders, Roberts, contact on Illich. And the lead is 5 inside the last minute.
Neal coming out for the centre pass on that occasion, and she tries to move forward and turns the ball over. We'll watch this once again. There's Sinanil. She moves into the space of Harvey. Definite contact called.
Delaney. Roberts on the baseline. He's moved well and shot well. 9 out of 10. And the Thunderbirds, after a measured start, really beginning to assert themselves right at the end of this first quarter, and they're building a lead. It will set things up nicely for them. And that might be the last score of the first quarter. As the timekeeper gets up, moves beside Drew Plummer. That is indeed all the action we'll have for the first, and I think the home team will be happy with that scoreline. It's 16-9 at quarter time.
And the first quarter stats, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, the home team, very impressionable there in the last 2-3 minutes of that first quarter, whilst their shooting average is not too bad, 80% at the moment. They've put up 20 goals and they've had 16 successful. Penalty rate fairly average at the moment with 12. A lot of penalties there perhaps in the defensive end, but we'll see that increase as the game progresses.
So the Kestrels trail the Thunderbirds by 7 at Etzer Park. Underway in the second quarter, and the Kestrels have got a little bit of work to do. But to remember, they're playing a team that, an incredible 5 consecutive years, has been in the grand final and won 2 of them. What a record Thunderbirds have. Just a great club. And the Kestrels are building here. They've certainly recruited well, and they've got to get the best out of those new recruits. And so Neil and Doyle
contact, wing defence.
have switched.
Contact, goal attack.
Contact is against Delaney.
Where you are, attack. Yep.
Kestrels, I feel, just need a bit more of the... Whoa! Harvey Williams came from a mile back, and that's what they love to see here in Adelaide. Those swooping intercepts from the Australian and Thunderbirds captain. She just reads it early.
Vivian puts it up there and Harvey opens her vision, comes out.
She was on the next page, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kestrels shot 9 out of 10 in that first quarter, so really their accuracy is there. That's just opportunities they need, and it's the defence all up and down the court from the Thunderbirds that is denying them those chances. Neil has to offload.
Behind the goal circle.
That came off, I think, Sanders.
Fellows, 187 centimetres is a mighty defender to get over the top of, and Sinner Neil manages this time. 2 tall players there. Will probably play on each other a lot in years to come. Early in their careers. Bomberto, Delaney.
Delaney shooting well, 9 from 12. She's found rhythm early in this second term.
Break, wing attack, 3 pass.
Turnover going the way of the Thunderbirds. A break on the Kestrel centre pass.
Damage, goal defence, contact.
Roberts looking very much at home in this Thunderbird shooting circle. That one won't go for her, but it's only her second miss of the match. It's called the commentator's curse. You know, open your mouth to praise someone. Yep. Richardson. Nearly a short pass to Strawn. Nearly a short pass to herself. McCaffrey getting a torrid time from Squire.
Harvey with the tip, but Squire on the wrong side of McCaffrey.
McCaffrey just shot the strangers. What are you doing there, Squire? Just leave me alone. Give me a break.
Oh, good work once again. Harvey Williams, an experienced tap. Knew she couldn't effectively take front stance. Got a hand to it.
Roberts.
Neil, front position there, but Harvey tips it on to Fellows.
Harvey Williams, how many times do you see her do that in a season? Just those little touches that provide turnovers, that provide goals at the other end, and that did all but drop for Sinner Neil.
And that's effectively what Harvey Williams needs to do against the height of these players, because she really can't contest aerially against perhaps a Neil and Dawes, so she just pressurises them into dropping the ball a bit shorter or gets the hand in. Harvey Williams regaining her footwork.
Obstruction, goalkeeper.
What more options for the Adelaide Thunderbirds as they move the ball into the forward line?
Come in. Yeah, come in, keeper.
Delaney and Roberts almost using the sweep as they do most of their forward occasions.
Sanders, Harvey Williams. So Delaney 10 from 13, Roberts 13 from 15.
Advantage, obstruction, wing attack.
Oh.
Throw in this side.
Delaney knew where she wanted Roberts to go. It was just a fraction too slow for Roberts to react.
Halfway through the second quarter, and it's all good news for the home side.
Wait for a defence, wait for her.
Strawn, McCaffrey.
Advantage obstruction.
Richardson had a look at Doyle, but Harvey Williams was right with her.
Good work by both defenders, Harvey Williams and Fellows.
Where she is.
Once again pushing Neil and George. You can see Harvey Williams behind on that occasion, picked up the infringement.
I think the Kestrel shooters, among other things, are finding the height and long reach of Fellows really quite off-putting as they're about to take their shots.
Contact centre. Short pass. Free pass outside the circle.
Well, you don't hear it often, but it's a short pass against the Kestrels. What's the exact definition? Must be room for another player.
Yes, okay to pass through. The Adelaide Thunderbirds taking it away here. Anna Colbeck in the crowd apparently has had an injury whilst playing a club game during the week. Once again, the Thunderbirds, 30 attempts to post, 25 successful. Overall,
Richardson.
83%, sorry, Steve, 83% shooting average for the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
And Doyle, 6 from 7. It's just not enough output from her. Not enough ball supply. Oh, Delaney. Richardson
Contact centre.
got a touch, then she got a contact
Yep.
against her, and the penalties, not much in it. 20 Thunderbirds, 22 for the Kestrels. Richardson into Sinner-Neal. Longish range shot, and it dribbles in. And keep the margin at 10. Won't want to be more than that when they go to the long break in 5 minutes 20.
Oh, attempt once again by Squire. Few deflections, lots of pressure by Peter Squire.
Richardson.
See McCaffrey jammed, not utilising her at all. On occasion they did.
Oh, Neil just watches the ball roll. It's an effective tactic that more and more players are using these days.
Sinner-Neal, 10 from 12. She's shooting at 83%.
Sideline.
Sanders finds Delaney. Delaney pokes one around the corner for Roberts, and oh, they could have optioned it between them, Strawn and Illich, and made a slight mess of it. Both heads went back. Opportunity missed. Delaney swoops again. And Anna Colbeck must be hoping the recovery from injury is swift, so she's at least available again.
Long arms there once again of Peter Squire over McCaffrey. Vision was shut down. Ball dropping short, but the turnover falls away the Kestrels.
Richardson looking for McCaffrey. Demelza Fellows came out. McCaffrey. Oh, Squire beautifully read. Oh, it was a hop. Was the call against the Thunderbirds. Thanks, Todd Miller.
Oh, set up there.
Oh, McCaffrey shoots an amazed look at Prue Plummer that there was no call on that. I feel she was bumped. I think I almost got a nod out of Monica Lamb there.
Yeah, there was an interesting setup at Fellows on the baseline. Also, there was Harvey, followed by Squire and Sanders, almost in a straight line. And I did feel that McCaffrey got bumped, but nonetheless, the Thunderbirds successful with that shot.
Squire. Harvey Williams.
Advantage obstruction attack.
Sanders to Von Berto. He's gone efficiently about the job at wing attack. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Hodge in the second half, particularly if the Thunderbirds are able to keep the Kestrels at more than arm's length, which they seem to be doing now.
Monberto and Sanders are using the wings beautifully as they go into their forward line.
defenders having a lot of trouble trying to come back to the top of the circle. Cutting them right apart at the moment, the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Throw in Thunderbirds.
Fellows. That'll do quite a bit for her confidence, I'm sure, Monica, if the Thunderbirds come away from this match with a win.
Advantage obstruction, shooter.
Must have been nervous about this moment, stepping out from the starting lineup after that apprenticeship under Sutter.
She would have been extremely nervous, I believe. Last year she had the backup of the fact that Sarah Sutter, you know, was the main goalkeeper, and if anything should happen, she would come on. She'd have her touch during certain quarters, but I think the expectations and the weight
Obstruction on your jump defense.
on her shoulders wasn't going to be as heavy as it is this year.
World Youth Cup player, Demelza Fellow, so she's used to netball at the top level. Just the senior level is something else again. Thunderbirds have scored the last 5. Those young fans are pretty happy. At the right-hand end of the court as we look at it. A group of about 30 keen young netballers. Enjoying, learning. Neil.
Contact centre on the circle beside her.
Sinner Neil. Fellows defending. Neil landing her 11th from 13, so a good return from her. Shooting at 81%.
Wing defence.
Impressive shooting, Steve, but as you mentioned earlier, it has to be creating more opportunities for Kestrels to put the ball to the post. And that's created by every player on court shutting down vision for the Thunderbirds. At the moment, fairly easy access to the post as Delaney drops another one. 31 from 37 for the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
McCaffrey, Richardson, Doyle.
You happy Margango on the sideline?
Richardson finds Neil. And Neil finds the net. 12 from 14. Umberto, Delaney. Roberts puts a move on the baseline, and then the backup is there from Delaney. The job's never done as far as Jackie Delaney's concerned. The teammate needs her. Knows she's going to be there, and that is half-time. 2 very solid halves from last year's runners-up, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and it's 32-18 in favour of the home side.
Look at the half-time stats. The Adelaide Thunderbirds taking it away in that second quarter also. Margin was 7 at the first quarter break. Margin now 14, so they've increased that lead. Penalties, way of the Melbourne Kestrels leading the margin there. Rebounds much the same. Turnovers, Kestrels turning 6 more over. The attempts to post, look at that, 38 to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Therefore, the opportunities are there for them, only 22 for the Kestrels. Goal shooting percentage, relatively the same, but the Adelaide Thunderbirds outscoring.
So they've given us 2 quarters of 16-9 over the Kestrels, and the Thunderbirds lead at 32-18. Underway in the third quarter, and the Kestrels have made a host of changes. And Daly is on at goalkeeper, Illich moving out to goal defence. Up front, we've got Amanda Burton at goal shooter, Sid O'Neill back to goal attack, and Danny Smith on at wing attack, replacing Trina McCaffrey. So McCaffrey really wasn't having a happy first half, but Peter Squire at wing defence for the Adelaide Thunderbirds has been known to do that to opponents. What a great player Peter Squire is. You force the opposing coach to make a change because of how well you're playing, and you've certainly done your job.
I think defensively the Thunderbirds have done that with a whole host of changes there to the forward line. McCaffrey off, as you've mentioned, Stephen. It was quite noticeable in that second quarter that Squire was shutting down McCaffrey's vision and also eliminating the area that McCaffrey could move into.
Delaney looking for Roberts, and picking up the crumbs was Melanie Vivian. Well, Kristen Daly is a pretty likely customer in defence, and she's played a couple of good games on our televised matches.
Outside the
held ball, though, against the Kestrels. Quite symmetrical look about the first 2 quarters, with Thunderbirds able to add 16 in both and restricting the Kestrels to 9 in both periods. Squire looking for a quick feed on to Sanders. Contact from Danny Smith.
Contact centre in the goal third.
The ABC Netball website is up and running again this season, and to have you drop by there, abc.net.au/netball. Richardson, and Smith, and Burton. And Burton playing game number 20 today.
And if she can shoot 5 goals, Steve, she will be at a career highlight of 600 goals during this game.
Barnage offside.
Well, I'm sure that Mark Lind will be hoping she shoots that and then some.
Roberts once again, 17 from 20. So both Delaney and Roberts on the same stats. The Adelaide Thunderbirds are shooting at 85%.
Barnage obstruction, wing attack.
Delaney.
And goal defence. Barnage offside.
Pretty hard to find an area to criticise the effort of the Thunderbirds today. It's sometimes in round 1 of these seasons, you see the sides a bit scrappy, rhythm not there, timing not there, but it's been a quite complete performance through 2 quarters anyway from the Thunderbirds, and that will have opposing coaches more than worried. And Marg Lind worried tonight. Smith, Neil, oh, they were betwixt and between there, and Marg Lind has got to be a little disappointed at this point.
Throw-in Thunderbirds, where you are.
At this stage of the game, I think that Marg would have expected her troops to be fairly close to the Thunderbirds, considering the changes that they'd made to their lineup also. They were perhaps banking on the fact that Fellows might be a touch nervous, and of course Bomberto and Roberts, whilst they're young and creative, they're not experienced, so the nerves of those 2 players could also work on, but just hasn't been a lot up forward for the Melbourne Kestrels.
No, but I think perhaps ways that Jackie Roberts and all Demelza Fellows would benefit is the players that they're alongside. So Demelza Fellows under the wing of Kath Harvey-Williams, who gets cleaned up here by Sinna Neal backing in, and
held her ground though, Kath Harvey, doesn't flinch at those types of passes, takes it once again.
Nick Richardson was there to make sure her Australian teammate didn't hit the ground too hard, which was nice to see. Opposing each other tonight.
At the moment, you can't fault the Thunderbirds. Their timing is impeccable.
They are well advanced of a first round game, aren't they? This is the kind of form you'd see from them after 5 or 6 matches. Mark Angov's got to be delighted. Sanders. Maybe she sent a note of thanks to Jill McIntosh, at least as far as the Australian players are concerned. Oh, yes, you did all right with my players when you took them away to England without asking me.
Mark wouldn't say that. She works in well with Jill McIntosh.
I'm sure the viewers knew I was kidding. Delaney.
At the moment holding the upper hand, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, 38 from 45. Missing 7.
Delaney.
Illich down behind play, gave Delaney good vision to the post.
Pretty brave and laudable decision, I think, that Delaney took to put the family first, knowing there's a big season of netball ahead, deciding not to tour and perhaps put her Australian position slightly at risk. But with a young child, Yasmin, and just wanted to make sure she was at home a bit more, and that tour to England took them out of play for a few weeks. She just felt she couldn't do it. She's the only mum in the Australian team, isn't she? Oh, Janine Illich.
Illich as well, yes.
Sorry, beg your pardon. Janine.
Illich has had a year off, so...
And Janine's husband, Roger, would have been looking after the home front while Janine decided to tour. She was trying to work her way back into the Australian side, so I suppose she was coming from a different perspective in terms of her position in the Australian team than Delaney was.
Netball Australia, however, create a lot of opportunities for our Australian team to train, travel, and I think that management of the Australian netball team are fairly well versed in allowing all their players time away from the squad, particularly if there are work commitments, not only family commitments, work commitments, and just the fact they might want a bit of a rest away from the team.
7 in a row from the Thunderbirds.
Oh.
This lead has built to 20.
Neil Harvey just a fraction slow in moving away. That was an unfortunate call.
Advantage on the contact keeper.
The biggest loss that the Kestrels had to the Thunderbirds was 76-36 back in 1997. Now, I wouldn't like to talk up the chances of that margin being repeated too much, but just for the sake of keeping an eye on records, that is the story. Vivian Illich.
Advantage obstruction, goal attack.
Danny Smith to Nick Richardson. Burton looks for something, and the defence makes sure there's nothing available as Squire pulls in another one.
And that was created by Harvey and Fellows that shut the shooter down to the post. The ball had to be switched to the wing area. And let's look at this tussle here between Illich and Delaney as Delaney misses that one.
Roberts is on hand, though.
There it is, Squire. That's where it was, the pinpoint at the goalpost. Squire to the wing, cuts it off.
40-20. Ouch.
Contact goal shooter.
And halfway through the third quarter, or a bit beyond that. Harvey Williams.
Contact wing attack.
Smith a bit close.
Bomberto.
Advantage offside.
Oh, good attempt there from Rebecca Sanders.
Well, Richardson was having a little dip around the body, but didn't have to do anything because Sanders was drawn into the circle. Nothing she could do about that.
No.
Little smile from Rebecca.
Contact. Goal defender contact.
Illich
Beside her again.
smiles at umpire Prue Plummer. Yeah, I think I was guilty.
Advantage obstruction. Advantage move.
Oh, Daly, well done. From out of the hands of Delaney. It's not easily done. And everybody's started to make a few mistakes.
We'll try and catch Peter Squires. Oh, good attempt there, Daly. Wrong pick of play by Harvey.
Kestrels penalty.
Just after that, Squire going out of court. Tried to read what she was saying.
Neil. And Neil, 13 from 15. Delaney
Offside, free pass.
He does so much important work around the edge of the circle.
It's a free pass in the circle.
Sanders, Delaney. She's pretty comfortable at that spot, isn't she? About 6 feet out from the post on the baseline.
And she creates for herself at every opportunity. And I think the wonderful aspect of Jackie Delaney's game is that explosive movement where she can take the defender out and get to the position she wants to be in.
Yes, her shooters do have favourite positions around the circle, don't they? Not just in terms of distance from the post, but
angles of the post too, yes.
Advantage obstruction wing.
And once the defender knows the weakness, that's their job, is to push them to that particular angle. See Bomberto sandwich there, and she got picked up for the contact. Been impressed with Bomberto's performance. She's worked in well with Sanders and also Delaney and Roberts.
Bomberto finds Roberts. Daly did well to keep possession alive for the Kestrels. Richardson in the centre third. A long ball touch from Fellows denying Burton. So they can get a chance to get set, the Thunderbirds defence.
Free pass.
Turnover going the way of the Thunderbirds. Offside called, a long one there from Fellows, utilising the space.
They drew the mistake from Danny Smith.
Barnage offside, wing defence.
Sanders into Roberts. Roberts into her 21st goal from 25 attempts. She looks well pleased. So inside the last 2 minutes of the third quarter, the lead was 9 at quarter time. Sorry, 7 at quarter time, then 14. And it's got right out to 22. So they're really building across the match in an even pattern.
Contact, pass or shot.
The effort has been steady and impressive from the Thunderbirds. Neil.
A few of the Kestrels players, as they're moving back to position, their shoulders are dropped, and I watched Richardson's face around the Kestrels goal circle, and she looks tired and anxious on occasions when she's trying to get that ball into both of her forwards, in Burton and Neil. A lot of pressure for the captain there, Nicole Richardson, probably expecting to work in with McCaffrey for the duration of the game.
Smith. Richardson runs it down. Burton to shoot. Fellows in her face.
Obstruction goalkeeper.
And finally the obstruction call goes against Imelda Fellows here. Came in a bit too close. Pensive Marg Lind.
Standard contact, yes, where you are.
The team needs to be too
Contact on the ball.
embarrassed about what's happening here, because we have to give enormous credit to the Thunderbirds, the way they played.
They gained their composure earlier in the game in the first quarter. Virtually, I suppose, the last 3-4 minutes of that first term saw them just settle down, and they haven't lost their rhythm since.
Here comes the timekeeper. That'll do it for three-quarter time. Another quarter which the Thunderbirds have won, and it's 44-25.
Third quarter statistics. We'll have a look at the Melbourne Kestrels, and Burton coming on in this third term. As you can see, Burton, she's had 3 from 4, trying to inject something into the Melbourne Kestrels forward line. Nil 16 from 19. They've lost their rhythm effectively around the goal circle, and I think even the defenders perhaps aren't getting as many touches as they need to create the opportunities.
So a 12-7 quarter to the Thunderbirds, and at 44-25 they look to be on their way. Here we go in the final quarter, and once again Marg Lind has understandably fine-tuned the lineup. McCaffrey's back on at centre, Richardson dropping back to wing defence. So Melanie Vivian is the player off to the bench. I think at this point of the match, with the result pretty much certain, Monica, there's not too much to be lost in just trying a different mid-court look to see if you can take something out of the effort of Sanders, Squire and Von Berto.
You couldn't sit back in this last quarter, Steve, and not make a few changes, and I think with McCaffrey, that is her first choice of position in at centre. I think wing attack may be slightly foreign to her, and I'm sure Richardson could play those 3 positions there, wing defence, centre and wing attack. Fairly versatile player as Delaney once again sets it up for the Thunderbirds in this last quarter.
25 goals, conceding 10 penalties. Oop, oop, oop. It just wouldn't sit up for Burton, and it's Adelaide Thunderbirds ball.
It's quite an interesting stat, Steve. I just point out that 10 penalties to Delaney. When you look at defensively, Harvey Williams and Fellows collectively with 14 between them, Delaney's in there having a go at everything.
She is. Whether it's a concern or something to be pleased about, whether some of those penalties needs thinking about. Oh, Fellows did well. juggle the loose ball. Daly gets a touch to it. Von Berto there, trying to place it around the body of McCaffrey. Now, a deliberate obstruction ruling here from Sharon Kelly, and I think she's right. McCaffrey, let's have a look at the effort there from Fellows.
Just fell the way of Fellows, and yes, go on, Steve.
Yeah, there was an interesting call, wasn't it, from Sharon Kelly at the other end. McCaffrey knew that a player was open at the post and she was going to do whatever she had to stop it getting there, and I think the right call was made by the ump, saying, I saw what you're up to there. That was a deliberate penalty, and she advanced it, offering the pass or shot.
It is frustrating. We could see from the sideline here that Roberts had wonderful positioning to the post, and
the Thunderbirds, of course, have their crosstown rivals next week, the Ravens. That should be a cracker. And that'll be one of our televised games next week. We've also got Perth at home to Queensland.
Daly's added a bit of spark in the goalkeeping role, don't you think? She's not frightened to come through and have a goal. Occasionally does not pull out in time and does attract the penalty. But 100% endeavour from Kirsten Daly. Roberts, 25 from 30 at 83%. Great shooting from that young player.
Oh, Fellows using a long reach to maximum advantage. Richardson gets to it first, having got the early tip. Burton into the corner for Smith, and that just asked too much of Danny.
It's good interception by Richardson. Once again had eyes on the ball coming down court.
Contact goal shooter outside.
Turned over now by the Kestrels. Disappointing for them.
51 to 30, 6:50 left in the match. It's interesting to consider, Monica, whether Marg Angove was in the same situation as Marg Lynn, but at three-quarter time the match is pretty much decided. Marg Angove also had the opportunity to make some changes if she wanted to.
I think she'd like to play this 7 as her starting 7, let them work out a few things during the course of the game, and she has the luxury to be able, she didn't have to change anybody. They were playing well. Let's increase the young players' confidence, such as Roberts and Von Berto, and also Fellows. Well, she has to gain confidence with every game as the season progresses. She's required in that goalkeeping role.
Burton, she is 7 from 9. That's 78%. Roberts' long-range effort is sweet as 26 from 31, and Marg Angove can barely keep a smile off her face. This is very nice, thank you. Can't keep her away from netball, Marg. She's just a great figure in the game, not just in South Australia, but at a national level. Her recognition, her contribution.
Yes, and her husband loves it too.
He'd need to.
He gets more time to play golf. And not have to worry about what the wife thinks. So, great sporting team, the Angoves.
Delaney. Bit of a fumble there from Sanders, but it ended up nicely for Jackie Delaney. That has a good look at the ring and says, no, not this time. So 52-32, 5 to go. Illich. Richardson. Through to Neal. Burton. Neal takes it strongly. Fellows right there. Burton's closer. Oh, gee, there was a hand on the arm there from Demelza Fellows.
Not called by the umpire.
That's all right, no real damage done in the end.
Average height of the Kestrels side is 179 centimetres. Their average age is 23, so whilst they've got height and youth as opposed to the Thunderbirds' average age 27, their average height 175, it counts for nothing. You can be short and old.
You've learned how to use that calculator, haven't you? That's good work.
Thank you very much. Did it on my PC.
But those stats aren't insignificant, are they? If you've got height across the court and you've got experience across the court, it translates. McCaffrey Neil.
Neil backing her judgment there, 21 from 26. So Sinner Neil, whilst once we have mentioned during the call not gaining a lot of opportunities, she has shot very effectively at 81%.
I think it was at the Nationals a couple of years ago where we first sort of set up and took notice of Kirsten Daly. She had an outstanding Nationals for Victoria. And she's filtered through to this level, and she looks the goods as a potential defender of some class. Burton. 3 to go. And you know the result, folks. Burton. Fellow's having a dip.
Burton's career average has been 595 from 735 attempts, generally shooting a fairly good average, but here today she's come on, not had many attempts as such.
So Thunderbirds to get early points on the board. And a healthy percentage too with his first win. I guess another benefit of Marg Angove keeping this 7 on court is that thing we talked about with taking home a win when you've really got it in the bag at 3/4 time. She's asking that of these 7 players who are on court now to finish a job that they set up. You make those changes at 3/4 time, you're really not quite sure whether it's because the team backs off or because you've made the changes if they don't win that last quarter.
I agree, Steve. I perhaps thought she may have brought Alex Hodge on into the wing attack role just to give her a bit of run, but as you mentioned, she's got the luxury to pick and choose what she wants to do, and with the scoreline as it is at the moment, she can sit back and enjoy the last quarter.
So a touch over 90 seconds to go as Neil finds Burton. Might take another game or 3 for the additions to the Kestrel squad. Christy Doyle and Katrina McCaffrey to really slot in terms of rhythm and timing and teamwork. And Marglin's had them for a few months, but it's game time at the top level that really sorts that out. Sanders. Roberts. Roberts with 28 from 33. Marglind, good to think about this week. They'll train hard and tackle the Swifts. But at least they'll be at home for that one.
Richardson contesting right to the end there. Roberts once again. Becky Roberts finishing off 30 from 35. Oh.
So the lead 19, and that's what it was at 3/4 time. So this last quarter has been better from the Kestrels. First 2 quarters were won 16-9 by the Thunderbirds, and the third 12-7. But a much steadier performance from the Kestrels in the final quarter, something for them to build on, but the win is a comfortable one in the end for the Thunderbirds. They had it in hand at 3/4 time. And 44 penalties, 52 the Kestrels. They conceded 8 more. The rebounds evenly shared, and the turnovers, well, another 15 against the Kestrels. That hurt, and that's something to work on. And the intercepts, not much in that, but the attempts, well, that's the possession favouring the Thunderbirds. 74 attempts to 47, and the goal shooting percentage, not much in it. In fact, a slightly better effort from the Kestrels, but they were starved of good possession, and the score 56 to 37. Here's Monica Lamb.
Thanks, Steve. I'm with Catherine Harvey-Williams, and that's a good game to get out of the way, Kath.
Yes, you never know how you're going to perform in your first game, but we're certainly pleased with the overall performance. We've got a bit to work on, but, you know, we just wanted to win in our first game, so we're more than happy.
Every quarter there was an increase. First at 7, half-time 14, 19 at the third quarter break. But the last quarter you didn't elevate that scoreline.
No, I guess the overall result was very pleasing, but we fell away in that last quarter, and I guess that's a good position to be in because we won fairly convincingly, but we still have a lot to work on. So, we're certainly pleased with the overall performance.
We were led to believe prior to the game that with the acquisition of the new players for the Kestrels that there would be a closer match. Were you surprised?
It was very tough out there, and I don't think the scoreline was an indication of how tough the game was, but I think they'll develop as a combination over the season. And, we weren't sure how our new combination would go, but everyone performed very well from the first whistle almost through the last whistle.
Let's mention your new players. Up forward, Vomberto and also Jackie Roberts, and then defensively, Demilza Fellows. How did you think they performed?
Well, 3 new players in a lineup is a fair contingent, so I think they did very well. There's certainly room to improve in their game too, but they settled in well. They were reasonably consistent and they won their position, so we couldn't ask for much more from those players.
With 2 points, the Adelaide Thunderbirds next week against the Ravens. Good luck.
Thank you, Mon.
Well, Kath Harvey-Williams obviously pleased and proud of that performance and relieved as well to get 2 points in round 1 for 2002. Next week, it is the Adelaide Derby. That is our 11 a.m. game. It's a home fixture for the Ravens as they take on the Thunderbirds here at Etzer Park. Monica will be joined by Anne Sargent for that one, while Vicky Wilson and I will make the trip to Perth to pick up the Orioles-Firebirds clash. You can see that at 5 o'clock next Saturday. As well, we'd like to have you drop by our website at abc.net.au/netball for all the latest news and results, and you can have a word in our chat room as well. Put your point of view on matters pertaining to netball. But that's it from Etzer Park this week, where the Thunderbirds have had a big win over the Kestrels. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to have your company again next Saturday. Goodbye for now.
Round 2 and Adelaide hosts the Derby. It's the Ravens up against the Thunderbirds. Hello, I'm Anne Sargent, and it's great to have your company on ABC Sport. It's round 2 of the COMMBANK Trophy, and once again, Adelaide is the place to be. Etzer Park this week hosting the local derby. Well, last week we saw the season kick off with some very impressive performances, not the least of which was from former champions, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds were awesome in round 1, making short work of the Melbourne Kestrels, 56-37. Melbourne Phoenix were also impressive against the Ravens, the Phoenix taking that one by 13 goals. Defending champions, the Sydney Swifts confirmed their status as favourites with a 56-36 victory over the Perth Orioles. And to complete the round, the Sandpipers just too good for the Queensland Firebirds. So after one round, the competition ladder looks like this. It's mighty congested at the top. The Swifts, the Thunderbirds, Sandpipers and Phoenix all on 2 points, with the Swifts top of the table slightly ahead on percentages. That leaves the Ravens, Firebirds, Kestrels and Orioles yet to draw blood. So the Thunderbirds and the Ravens come off the back of very different performances into this match. And in fact, in the history of the competition, the Ravens are yet to score a win over the Thunderbirds. Joining me for the match in commentary is former Australian player Monica Lam. And Mon, both teams have had their share of drama in the camp this week, but I guess come that first whistle, it's business as usual.
Yes, Annie, they say what a week in footy and what a week in netball it has been. Alex Hodge frocking up for the Sydney Sandpipers next week. She needs more opportunities for court time. Jamie McKinnon has lost the passion for the Ravens, so she won't be playing today's game. But this home derby always lends itself to great enjoyment, great contest, and at the end of the day, these two teams really have to come together and just make it by the end of the 60 minutes for the 2 points.
Thanks, Mon. Well, the local derby always provides something special, and I put it to two of the more seasoned performers, Peter Squire and Danny Grant. Would they be bringing a little something extra to this match? This is what they had to say.
We certainly do. There's unbelievable excitement